Privacy matters at Case Western Reserve. As we strive to shape the future through teaching, research, and serving the community, our students, faculty, staff, and others expect the university to uphold their privacy. Also, certain information has specific legal protections, such as data from students' educational records, and patients' and subscribers' records within the several HIPAA-covered entities at CWRU. The university recognizes its crucial role as steward of the information it collects while engaging in its academic, research, and organizational activities. Maintaining the privacy and confidentiality of personal information is an institutional priority. As an active university with thousands of students, our faculty and staff manage a great deal of information about students, such as their areas of study, their classes, and the grades earned in those classes. Students' academic records and information from those records have certain legal protections through FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974. An important aspect of FERPA is that it gives legal privacy protections to student records. FERPA generally allows faculty and staff members within a university to share those student records with one another as long as there is a legitimate educational purpose. However, before sharing a student's educational record, or information from the record, with someone who does not work for the university, the student's explicit written consent is usually required. The Office of the University Registrar is the primary resource for questions regarding FERPA. By going to the office's website, you can view CWRU's FERPA statement, which describes in detail the university's position, process, and resources relating to FERPA. It is important to note that FERPA is a law about education records. Personal observations about a student are not covered by FERPA. Second, if an education record is completely de-identified, it is not covered by FERPA. Finally, FERPA provides for an exception in emergency situations. If there is a health or safety emergency, you are permitted to share information from a student's educational record to anyone you reasonably believe could help manage the situation. In such an emergency, for example, if you learn that a student is posing a risk to himself or others, it is recommended that you contact someone trained to deal with these issues, like campus mental health professionals or campus police. For a non-emergency situation, the Division of Student Affairs can help manage a student-related concern. Quiz question number 1. An instructor notices a disturbing change in a student's temperament. True or false? FERPA prevents her from raising her concern with others. False. The instructor should deal with the situation instead of ignoring it. It is recommended to contact someone trained to deal with these issues, such as campus mental health professionals, campus police, or the campus assessment, referral, and engagement, or CARE team in the Dean of Students' offices within the Division of Student Affairs. FERPA does not restrict the disclosures of information that is based on personal observation. Also, FERPA provides an exception in health and safety emergencies. If there is a legitimate concern for human health and safety, individuals may disclose education record information without having the student's written consent. Quiz question number 2. A professor has a large survey class consisting of more than 150 students. Due to time constraints, he considers placing graded papers in a box outside his classroom so students can pick through them and find their own graded papers. Which of the following would be FERPA-compliant alternatives to this? A. He could leave the graded papers with the department assistant, who can verify a student's identity and hand the graded paper directly to the individual student. B. He could post lists of grades by a random number assigned to the student by the faculty member. C. He could post student grades within a system that requires individual students to authenticate in order to view their grades, such as Canvas. D. Any of the above may be performed in a way that is consistent with FERPA. The correct answer is D. It is not appropriate to leave any student-identifiable graded papers or tests in a public place for students to pick up, or where other unauthorized individuals could view them. By doing so, the faculty member could disclose students' grades to their classmates, or other people who happen to walk down the hallway and look through the box. If graded materials cannot be given directly to students in class, they can be left with a department assistant or other faculty or staff member who can verify a student's identity and hand them directly to the individual student. it is permissible to post lists of grades by some code name or number assigned to each student by the faculty member. If the web is used to inform students of grades on course assignments, tests, and etc., a code name should be used. Also, codes should be assigned in random order so the list of codes does not reflect an alphabetical listing of student names. Posting of student grades within systems, such as Canvas or SIS, that require individual students to authenticate in order to view their own grades is permissible. At CWRU, we consider data and information to be in one of three categories: public, internal use only, and restricted. Information is grouped into these categories so faculty and staff members can manage each type appropriately. The most sensitive information, restricted, has the strongest set of controls. Public information includes university news and announcements, employee names and job titles with phone numbers, and student directory information, such as name, email address, and dates of enrollment. For more examples of public information, go to UTech Policy 3-1, Information Categories and Sensitivity, on the UTech Information Security Office webpage. A large portion of the information we use at CWRU is public. Information systems that store, process, or manage public information should use the minimum security standards and configuration. These standards have been approved for use in all CWRU IT environments and may be enhanced to more stringent controls as deemed appropriate by the information owner. Controls and security standards for public information include automated updates for system software, installation of antivirus software, and appropriate data backups. We will now shift our focus to internal use only information. For example, this category includes student grades, employees' home phone numbers, individual citizenship status, visa status, and the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers. For more examples of internal use only information, go to Information Security Policy 3-1, Information Categories and Sensitivity, on the UTech Information Security Office webpage. When using, storing, or transmitting internal use only information, you should be aware that an inappropriate disclosure of this kind of data may negatively impact the university and its members, and thus may be prohibited. Therefore, stronger security controls should be used. For example, IT systems containing internal use only information generally require an approved person to input their username and password. Now we will review the third category, restricted information. Some examples of restricted information include university-generated employee tax information, protected health information, full Social Security numbers associated with a person's name, and credit card transaction data. For more examples of restricted information, go to the Information Security Policy 3-1, Information Categories and Sensitivity, on the UTech Information Security Office webpage. If you have questions regarding what other information falls into each category, contact the UTech Information Security Office or the Compliance Office. Quiz question number 3. Your supervisor recently put you in charge of reviewing and revamping your department's website. When selecting content for this website, which will be visible to anyone with access to the Internet, which category or categories of information should you include? A. Public and internal use only. B. Public. C. Restricted. D. Public, internal use only, and restricted. The correct answer is B. You should include only public information. It would be inappropriate to include internal use only and restricted information, because information such as FERPA protected student information, citizenship or visa status, and portions of individuals' Social Security numbers are not approved for wide public dissemination. If you include such information on a website, you could make the affected individuals vulnerable to embarrassment and other harms such as identity theft. Also, you could infringe on their legal privacy rights and violate university policy.